It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. Keeping it real. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. Keeping it real. It's
Hello, and welcome to
Shannon.
Keeping It Real with Shannon Live.
It's Shannon.
Crazy enough, because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning in the midst of COVID?
Keeping it real.
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Hello, Miss Vanessa. How are you?
Hello, Lottie. I am burnt out. Burnt out. I think I still got jet lag.
You better get unburned because we got a hot topic tonight to talk about.
Yes, we do.
We want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. As you know, we have a lot of people that's addicted to drugs and alcohol. And this has been way before the pandemic, even though it has gotten worse since the pandemic hit, but it's always been there. And today we have invited some of our community leaders to come on and share their work in helping people in this situation. Miss Vanessa, could you introduce our guest, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. Hi, okay, yes, we have a nice panelist tonight. Our first guest is Mr. Eric Malik Hutchinson. He's the CEO of Neoteric Solutions, Inc. He has an extensive portfolio and years of working as a KSAC counselor with veteran programs. He's engaged in numerous community projects, one of many as a board member of Faith, Fathers Alive in the Hood, community-based violence prevention and response organization. Then we have Mr. Costa Headley. He is a philanthropist and entrepreneur, owner of Strong Power Consultants, president of Headley's Consultant LLC, and for the past 12 years, he's worked to rehabilitate poor communities within the 5 boroughs through his contracting firm. He's also a liaison for various HMOs by assisting them in providing health care through facilities in low-income facilities. And our last guest tonight is Miss Alexa Sokolov. She's a bilingual clinical and forensic social worker, founder and CEO of Total Healing Centers, an organization that promotes and destigmatizes mental health awareness and substance use disorder while safeguarding young adults and adolescents. We welcome our panelists tonight.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and share this topic with us tonight, because you have been doing a lot of work in this field, and we need to hear some of the things that you are doing to help with this situation. But let's start off with we know people have been on drugs and alcohol for a long time. I mean, even before the pandemic, even though we know the pandemic has made it worse. But what would you say that this rise, besides the pandemic, is making people turn to more drugs and to more alcohol? I mean, is there no end to this?
Well, it's in the it's everywhere really. It's in the music. It's part of culture. Things are happening. You know, marijuana is being legalized in states throughout the country. You know, things are happening. It's you know, those things that were taboo years ago are becoming popular. I mean, you know, when we were coming up, you know, say don't use the white horse. You know, don't, you know, crack is whack. You know, all those songs. All those songs were saying against drugs. Now all the songs are promoting drugs.
Yeah.
And meds You know, so it's so ingrained in the culture. We have to do the opposite now and make sure that we also continue to fight and educate our communities in that fashion as well.
It's
Mr.
interesting.
Henry, what do you
Mhm. No, go ahead, Ms. Adley.
Yes, well, basically, I concur with what Eric is saying, is that it has to be a re-educational process because our community been miseducated in terms of the importance when we're talking about education, we're talking about healthcare, we're talking about a variety of things that has affect basically the Black community. And things are not being talked about as frequent as it should be talked about. And people got to stop being too selfish in terms of not supporting each other. I look at the various communities and I'm seeing what's happening before and what's happening now. There needs to be a lot of outreach. People need to come together, whether it's dealing with our politicians, or dealing with our church members, or dealing with our block association, our housing association presidents, our community boards. All these things need to come together to raise the consciousness of our communities. Drug addiction specifies a variety of things because you can be addicted to nonsense opposed to common sense. Drug addiction is where you take it. Those who drink, those who smoke, those who are taking drugs, all these kinds of things, there's reasons why these people are doing what they're doing. And there's reasons why people are doing good things. And so how do we come with the good and the bad that's affecting other people? If you look at how people are living in these households where you have substance abuse, you have sexual abuse, and there's a lot of things in our community is not being reported.
right?
Absolutely.
It's not being talked about.
Yes.
Mhm.
Our churches need to do a little more outreach in touching our families.
So,
And
so
yes,
I'm not cutting you off, Mr. Henry. So I want to bring Ms. Alexis in because you do a lot of work in this field as well. So what do you think a lot of the problem is?
Well, for many, many years, substance use, it was substance abuse before, and it was considered as a deviant behavior, right? And the reason it was considered as deviant behavior is because people use drugs, but people were thought to be out of normalcy, right? So people were dealing with mental health and using drugs. What has and what has been happening right now is that substance use disorder is usually a co-occurring disorder. So we have people dealing with mental health. Mental health is a real thing. And I have been in the field for over 15 years. I started as a substance use provider, but I expanded further, right? Because I realized that mental health is so important. Not every person that deals with mental health has substance use disorder, but almost every person that is using drugs has an underlying issue with mental health. And that is important to speak about.
Now, I
Okay.
know we mentioned earlier, Mr. Malika had mentioned about they're soon looking to legalize marijuana. So once the government finds a way to profitize off of illegal drugs, outside of marijuana, and when we're trying to make an effort to make it better, do you think the problem's going to get worse?
Well, actually, when you think about Colorado, for example, Colorado's drug use, substance use programs they're not enough. People are literally migrating from other states where it's illegal to go there. So you have a high homeless rate, you have a high jobless rate, you have crime rates are rising in certain areas. So it's we have to pay specific attention because yes, if we don't pay attention to it, yes, it will get worse. So again, we as educators and community organizers, we have to make sure that we're on the pulse of what's happening in our communities and continue to educate.
How are you going to do this? How do you plan to educate them in the
So
community?
my
In
program,
what way?
we've been doing it for quite a while. It's an initiator program called Community Outreach, Recovery, and Reintegration Program. Acronym is CORE, where we're in the community making sure that we're letting people know how to live healthy lives, letting them know about, substances, how everything that's, on the streets right now has some sort of fentanyl in it, because the drug dealer he's not out to help you. He's out to make money. So whatever it's going to do for him to raise his product, he's going to raise his product, but it's at your detriment. And in doing so, also, the community's at a loss because our youth are dying and our older elders are dying from this epidemic. So we have to keep the energy going in our communities. We don't care if we're in the housing projects. We don't care about being on the corners. We don't care about going into courtrooms and giving alternatives to incarceration situations for people so they can get the help they need. We have to continue to be mobilized and in community, fighting on the ground.
So, Mr. Haley, your organization, your program, you said that you will also be like going door to door. You'll be going to churches and different facilities to speak on what you have to offer or what they can do and where they can get help from.
Yes, we're accumulating resources, and I can relate to Alexa. She's been working with us throughout the years and getting placement for these individuals that need to be placed. But I just wanted to add something to what Eric was saying, that I don't want us to overlook our senior citizens. All right, we have a large number of seniors that's being over medicated.
Yes.
All right,
That's the truth.
and that's a source of addiction.
That's the truth.
Okay, and I don't want, our seniors basically is really our leaders. Our mothers is our leaders. When you look at people need help. You can't see it, but you can feel it by the way the things that they're doing, how they're talking to you, and things of that nature. People have pride in saying, "I need help. Help me." This is the purpose why we created this atmosphere in terms of dealing with people on the streets, dealing with ministers, dealing with a variety of people, and educating people. They can educate us so we can be strong enough to be able to convince people that they need help and where to go and get it.
And joining forces, us collaborating. So us working with Mr. Headley, me and Alexa working with Mr. Headley and letting him, assist and leading the way and showing us, breaking through these pathways and allowing us to speak to the community is so important. There was a time where agencies and companies kind of kept secret certain things. Well, I'm not going to say too much around Mr. Headley because, I don't know, he might take my idea and run with it. But that's not what this war is about. This war against drugs is about making sure that all of us combine our resources together, and then we fight this together, because we can do much more together than we could alone.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Mr. Eric. But we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and continue this conversation. We'll be right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hi, we're back talking to some of our community leaders. Before we went to break, we talked about, what kind of outreach you're going to do and what outreach you could do, what treatments, places that, they'll be able to go to once, they find out from you when you do your outreach and stuff. But let's go back to, I don't know, it just bothers me because sometimes, I was talking to you about this before, is that we need to get to the people in some kind of way. When we talk to people, is letting them know that when tragedy hits or something crisis hit, you don't have to turn to drugs and alcohol. There's other means of survivor that you don't have to destroy your own life with this. And I think we need to. I know we're gonna talk until we blue in the face, but I think we just really need to start talking to people about this, particularly the young people, particularly the parents, because it starts in the home with the parents. Even when the kids get out there and get on drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, it starts from the home. Because something ain't right at home and they're not getting the discipline they need to have. They're hanging on the street all time of night when they should be in the house and stuff like that. They get involved with these gangs. They get involved with people who are doing drugs and, alcohol and stuff like that. I think that we need to go back and start the family at home.
Absolutely. But when we talk about working together, collaborating, is there a way that they can collaborate? That everyone can collaborate with the barbershops, beauty salon, where you find a large population of young men and women where they congregate to get the message across to them that there's resources out there that's available to them.
Well, basically, it's saying, I'm working with barbershops now.
Okay.
When I first started, it was just giving a young person a bet. These guys was coming in the barbershop with these tattoos and muscles and everything else, and I bet them $100 that something was wrong with them. Every last one of them. Myself and my daughter had made an appointment with Downstate and took 10 kids with us, and there was something wrong with every last one of them.
Mm-hmm.
High blood pressure, but I don't want to talk about the diseases that they had. They didn't know that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so now, by us going to the barbershops, we're trying to create an atmosphere in terms of great number of materials where they can go and who they can call to get help. All right. And so we're spreading that across Brooklyn and dealing with some community boards and dealing with nonprofit organizations that's working with us, and also health centers that's providing some of these services for us. So I just want to put that out,
Yes.
But Eric, you were saying something?
So, and it's wonderful, Mr. Headley brought that up because I was looking at a TV show and the barbershop was in DC where a gentleman was inviting doctors, and he had a doctor that was taking their blood pressure and just doing a few tests. That's an excellent idea. My company, Under the Roof A&M & Associates, we're about health and wellness, really getting in the community and not only talking about drugs, but talking about those underlying issues. As Alexa says, the drugs are usually like the secondary component to mental health, which is, is stigmatized. Also, high blood pressure, stigmatized. Cancer, stigmatized. Diabetes, stigmatized. But guess what? Those are the very things that are killing our communities today. So health and wellness, coming from a holistic approach, is so important, dealing with the whole of the person in no matter what areas you're talking about. So when you talk about street outreach, no matter what we call it the gate, no matter what the gate, open one of them, and you open one of those gates, whether I'm start talking to you about the fact that your stomach's a little round and it's not as flat as it used to be. What's happening? What's going on? Is it hard, or is it, or your ankles are swollen? Somebody told me, one of my partner told me last week, he said, man, your ankles are swollen. What's wrong? What's happening? And come to find out, the doctor said I'm wearing my socks too high on my leg. He said, wear the low socks. So see, we're having the conversations amongst each other, and we're not too proud to have the conversations amongst each other. And I love them for it, because I was able to wear the lower socks now. My legs started going down. So
yeah, but Eric, I'm going to say this because, okay, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, all that kind of stuff, we can get it under control. But this addiction with the drugs, once they get on it, it's like it's out of control, and it doesn't seem that they can get it under control. I mean, I have those underlying issues you just said, but I could heal myself if I wanted to, but I just refuse to give up my, barbecue spare ribs and, my
See?
yams
Yeah, yeah.
macaroni and cheese and, and I know it's killing me. I know it's killing me, but I just refuse to give it up. At least I'm gonna die happy,
But you know,
And I know that's wrong.
but you know,
Lonnie,
Lottie, I think
let's
some of the
talk.
problem. I think some of
Eric,
the problem is,
what, Eric?
I'm going to go to doctor saying something. I'm gonna wait till she go, and then I'm gonna say what I got.
you know what I think also? I think part of the problem with this drug addiction is that a lot of the kids, especially in the communities of color, there's a lot of trauma, PTSD, traumatic events, violence, death, and things that's happening inside the household that's not really being tackled, and that's part of underlying conditions that are as a contributory factor to these drug addictions.
I
So,
concur with that. Yes,
behaviors. So behavior. So you said it, Lonnie. You hit the nail on the head. So, I can take care of myself. I can stop doing, but I can't give up them barbecue ribs, right? Those are behaviors.
Yeah.
Those are behaviors. So we have to understand how important the behaviors are. So when we talk about attacking it, peers. So someone who walked the walk before me, I'm liable to listen to that person before I'm liable to listen to the quote unquote book knowledge person, for example. Well, how do you know? No, I walked those steps 5 years ago. That was me. But look at me now. I'm a peer. I'm on the street talking to you today. I need you to be with me 5 years from now so we can talk to the next group of kids.
Exactly.
It's a constant battle.
Because I say that the reason I keep humping on the addiction because it was in my family and still in my family because I had a cousin, and when she got on it, like early 20s, and for some reason she just couldn't get off those drugs, and then the parent wasn't happy because they was enabling them by letting them still do what they had to do, and they robbing them and bringing people that. So that's why I say when it gets to that point. But what I want to say is that we got to keep an eye on our children when they are young. You need to know who your children are hanging around. And if those people don't look right, you need to break that up. I'm sorry. And they don't need to be on the street all time of night. Because I see these 10, 11, and 12 years old kids out all time of night on the street. That's how you get in trouble. Because let me tell you, that drug addiction, I've seen it with my own eyes what it does to people and stuff. And it just tears them down to nothing. And they go in treatment for 30 days, 60 days, whatever, come out, and it's just not working until they just hit rock bottom. And even sometimes when they hit rock bottom, they can't get it together. So to try to do everything to keep them off is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I just want to say something Eric was saying and Alexis was saying and you were saying is that there's an inner being inside of people. It's not the drugs, it's the person that's inside that person that to be healed. The drug is not the problem. Okay, it's the person that have something inside that they can't get out. And being able to confide. You have no idea the problems that people or children are going through in those households right now to get them to do the things that they're doing. There's kids that really want to be incarcerated. They want to get away from their family and get on drugs and do the things that they're doing. I'm going to give you a small thing right quick. I'm not going to. Alexa and I did some work, and my nephew was basically on drugs, alcoholic. I said, Alexa, I got to get this guy out of here the same day. The same day I got to get him out of here because if I tell him that I'll see you the next day, I wouldn't see him. I told him to come by my office. Came by my office. I called Alexa up. Alexa, Jim, we got to get him out of there. Is he willing to go to concert? I said, listen, he has no choice. He has no place to go. And we gave him an alternative. And he went to that place the same day, came back. And now he's working. He's getting ready to get married.
Okay.
Because we
Okay.
forced him and gave him an ultimatum. But
Yes.
see, there's a behavior modification system
Right.
that goes with every achievement that a person is into or what that person does. He's wind up being rewarded, okay, in the process of pursuing goals and opportunities. I have never in my life have seen so many talented kids before, even coming up. These kids are so talented. Even the little babies are so talented. You understand? And our job is to save their lives. But like you said before, we got to save their parents. We got to put their parents in programs.
Yes.
Get them together.
Yes. Well, Mr. Haley, we're gonna finish this conversation in our after show. We have to end this part of our show, and I want to thank you for coming on and participating in this part of the show and telling us about things that people can do, what they can get involved in, how can they outreach to the community and stuff. And but now we're going to do a quick tribute for our Women's History Month.
Well, I like to welcome a few women for this Women's History Month, and the first one I would like to select will be my daughter, Giselle Danzing. I tell you, she is an amazing child. She has worked hard. She has been a single mom. I tell you, you would not believe all the things she have done, working a full-time job and then some, raising a 14-year-old son, created daycare, a cooking school, a culinary school, and a day camp for kids in her community. And there's much more on her list to do. And I'm so proud of her, and kudos. And I salute my daughter. My next tribute will be my sister, Marquita Daniels. And wow, although we're 7 years apart, I always sometimes felt alone because, when the kids get a little older, they do their own things with their friends. But lately we have been much closer, and she knows that she always reminds me in a way that I am not alone. And although we have that age gap, she's always there. She's always been my biggest supporter. I salute her. She's been a single mom to my niece and nephews. And we, to this day, conversate every day. And I always love her for being there and as close as we have gotten over the years. And my biggest contributor for this month is my mom. Sorry. Carrie Davis. We lost her in October 2019. And she has been my biggest hero, my biggest cheerleader on the things I have done over the years. And she has always been there and has always been there and my biggest fan. And she is dearly missed. And I just wanted to let her know that I'm still holding on to that promise that I will always keep the family together. So those are my three honorees for this month for Women's History Month.
Yes, we always want to pay tribute to our family women because we are the backbone of the family, and we salute all women.
Yes.
Not leaving you fathers out, but you know the deal. You know what the deal is, that it is the women. So we want to thank you for joining us for this part of the show, and we will be back for our after show in a few minutes. So as always, watch us every Tuesday on Facebook and YouTube at 8 o'clock, every Saturday at 5:30 on Brooklyn and Manhattan Neighborhood Network at 2:30. If you are in need of any assistance, you can always reach out to our guest that was on the show today. They're at the end of the show. If not, you can always contact us here at the show. So we want to thank you for joining us, and as always, we'll see you next time.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
It's It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
Hello and welcome back for our after show. Before I start with you, Mr. Helly, because I want you to pick up on what you were saying before, because we love those kind of outcomes when you give someone a choice to be. I just want to know, there was a question or comment up before. Was that a question? If it is, you can bring it up again, or that we can see what it was. But Mr. Helly, you was talking about okay, if you were present, I'd love to see a young adult with every experience here. They would add a great insight. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
But you would go ahead on Eric.
and she's phenomenal. She's an LMSW 29 young. Yes.
Okay. Now, before Mr. Helly, you was talking about the person that you had given a choice to get it together, because I think that's a lot too. Like you said, that and Eric said earlier that people have choices, but even though they make the wrong choices, but if we put them in a situation where they can do better and they do better, then we have to reward them as well.
We have to.
Yeah, there's a situation, and people determine what's right or what's wrong. What's right for you may be wrong for me. And how do you bring that to an end and being able to discuss that with that person to think that you're wrong or he's right or whatever the case may be? When people look at themselves and see themselves and who and what they are or what they can become, is to be better and to do better. That's a package. We have an opportunity, all of us have an opportunity of reaching out and touching and saving lives by the mere fact of creating resources. Before this academic, what we've done, we've been sending kids to college through Brownsville Recreational Center, okay, for a number of years. Okay, giving kids an opportunity to visit college campuses. All right. And every kid that went to visit a college campus, you understand that they wind up going to these various schools. The second thing is that we've been dealing with the Fresh Air Fund now for about 10 years and sending kids to camp for free. And I'm basically happen to be one of those persons 60 something years ago, a little more than that, had been recipient of the Fresh Air Fund. And when I went there, I didn't want to come back home, because I saw something different. I did something different that we never did before in our community where I was raised up at, you know what I mean? And after seeing that, it changed my whole entire life and determined what I am today by reaching out and helping other kids to do the right thing. So when kids get a chance to be exposed to different things, because I know people that can walk around a corner and get lost because they ain't been nowhere else. Okay, so it's up to you, me, and everybody else to continue doing it and get away from the personality thing. Oh, I don't like this person. This person is, that kills that whole concept of helping people. And even in the churches, people will be praying and falling on their knees and get outside the church and talk about this, brothers. That's
well, what do you think we go to church for but to gossip?
That's what I'm saying. People sit there, when people get to go to church, get to be nosy. I want to see who's going to come to church today, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, I am pleased that you have given us the opportunity of being on your show today. It's truly a blessing that you and I connected with Colette Briggs and everybody else, and my friends that's there. And and this is my first time being, well, not being on TV. I've been on TV, but it wasn't too good for me because, I used to be a professional fighter. And being on TV, somebody see you get knocked out ain't too good. Different story, but anyway, uh, I just want to thank your guys for giving us an opportunity, Eric and Alexis, and we've been working together very closely for a couple of years, and I'm just so pleased to have this team. This is only a part of the team. There's a number of us, okay, that are in position and committed themselves to touch other people.
So Alexis, I wanted to ask Alexis because she works, with a lot of the young people or older people, in the field that you do as far as the social work and stuff. Now, when you deal with the adults or young people, whatever that's on drugs, how do you deal with them? Like, what do you talk to them about? Like, tell me, like, an instance if you were working with someone that is on drugs or alcohol, what is it that you do with them?
Thank you. Thank you so much. So a lot of parents from different communities, right? Because addiction, that's one thing that will never discriminate. It touches every single person that is willing to be touched by it in a way or not, right? Situations occur. So mothers reach out to me, help out, please, the kid is dying on drugs. You can't just force a child to go into a rehab or to go seek help, right? You have to ask first, what is going on with you? Open up, right? Let's talk about it. I'm not your mother. I'm not your father. I am a friend right now. So I befriend these children, right? I become very close with them. I become their confidant, right? So these children speak to me something that they would never tell their parents. And if I tell you that majority of the time I deal with abuse, verbal, mental, sexual. Children are afraid to come out to their parents, younger people. They carry this on. So abuse happens at any age, and then they carry on. They become elders, and they still carry it on. They become even elder, and they still carry this on. So you can imagine trauma on top of trauma for years and years to come.
You talk about abuse from the parents.
Abuse from the parents, abuse from the family, abuse. There's a lot of abuse actually that happens from near family, uncles, aunts, cousins, incest. Verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is the number one cause, right, for people to decline in mental health. Because if you keep telling a person you're this, you're that, you're dumb, you're even you're stupid, you're not getting good grades, what do you think the child is going to do? Is he automatically going to getting good grades? No, he's going to live with those thoughts that he's really not worth anything. And so now, if you go to school and you have challenges and you don't understand, right, what you're going to do is you're going to start getting away from those problems, self-medicating. You're going to try a little bit with cannabis, and then you proceed to something a little bit stronger to take away the pain that you're going through. And so what I teach parents is speak to your children, right? Instead of having, you're tired, I understand you could work 2-3 jobs, but come home, speak to your child. If your child is locked in a room, don't just ignore it and say, thank God he's playing on a video game. Knock on the door. What is going on? Let's talk about it. You don't want to talk to me? I'm going to get somebody. Let's speak about it. And that is what we're dealing with every single day.
And you're so right about that, Alexis, because the thing about, well, you know what? Even though this pandemic has really caused a huge crisis, but you know what? When you look at it, it really has touched nerves to let people know how they have been living all of this time, because now you're finding out that the parents was not talking to the children. The husband and wife don't talk to each other. So now they found out they don't even know each other, because nobody ever talk to each other. They come in, they're on their phones all the time. The kids are playing video games all the time. So you don't even realize that you had a child that drives the teacher crazy in class, and now that's why you want them to go back to school, because they're driving you crazy at home. And so it's like, I think this has really been a good way of letting us know that we need to come back together as a family like we used to be, where we could sit
Right.
down together at the dinner table and talk and leave those phones in the garbage somewhere until dinner is over or something, because it's just not working anymore. It's not working anymore. I mean, you can't even have a holiday dinner. I remember I would cook Thanksgiving dinner, and the last dinner I had, because we were supposed to be eating together, if everybody's on the phone, and then if I say get off the phone, then they're gonna get mad with me because I tell them to get off the phone. Because we want to eat. That's what we came together for. It's Thanksgiving, so I stopped having Thanksgiving dinner because it was wasting my time. We need to get back to talking to each other. Parents need to get back to disciplining their children. The law says do not abuse your children. It did not say don't discipline your kids, because these kids, they want discipline. They want you to discipline. Trust me, I know. They want
That's what you call love. That's what you call love.
Yes.
When you ignore your child, you're not giving them love.
Mhm.
But the other thing too that becomes to be very important, I guess don't want to look over this. The parent that's ignoring a lot of things that's happening around her, she needs to be touched and talked with, because she plays a very, very important role in trying to heal this child. So we can't forget the parent. The parent is key in this whole entire thing of healing.
Now, I always have said that. I have always said we go back to the parent. But then some people say, oh, well, you always trying to blame the parent for everything. What? Nobody's trying to blame the parent for everything. This is your child. So who else is going to deal with the child but you as a parent? But you also as a parent has to realize you need a village to help you raise that kid. You cannot raise this kid by yourself because you can't watch them 24/7. But that village can, because you got people maybe on the block, someplace else that will see your kids and stuff like that. But if you're the type of parent that if somebody sees your kid doing something that you gonna step to them or whatever, it's not a problem. But if you that type of parent, like, well, who told you to be talking to my parent? Or why are you saying something to my child? That's why now people don't want to jump in to help out with your children when they see them in trouble or anything. Because you don't want that village. And that's what we need.
I agree.
I want to ask one question, and then we can, I question all those parents that their kids got killed by friendly fire. Okay, friendly fire means that the person knew who they was killing. They had a relationship with them. Now, all these parents, if you ask them how and why their kids got killed because their kids was in gangs. Now, what about the parents that know that their kids out there killing other people's kids?
All right. I just wanted to not get too far off topic. I want to add something before we close the show. And I just wanted to applaud you all for the good work that you're doing within the community. But some people do not believe that addictions is a problem in the community. So how do we change the narrative to bring to the table of what's really going on in the community?
So that's the whole concept behind the Smart Start Center. It's about a resource hub. It's about whatever those issues are, let us investigate, let us bring those experts in so that we can give you the help you need no matter what the area. If it's not just substance use disorder, it's traumatic stress disorder, it's depression, it's obesity, whatever those issues are, let the Smart Start Center be that community hub that allows whatever the issue is, we can deal with it. Family issues, trauma, whatever it is, let us help.
Okay.
But they have to be willing to open the door for you to come in. That's the problem.
I would like to add also, social media is a blessing, social media is a curse, right? But social media has been very influential. We have 2 summers ago partnered up with LL Cool J, where we did promotion on mental health and substance use, right? Awareness. It was very, very successful. A lot of young children came out to the park. We had a picnic. We had music playing, and children were able, adolescents were able to speak about their problems openly, right? Because an important figure was out there and destigmatizing the whole thing and saying, hey, it's okay to talk about it. You don't think you have a problem? That's fine. Let's discuss it. Let's see, why do you have to be on drugs in order to feel good? What happened? You weren't born on drugs, right? You never knew how to laugh before, right? You started drugs. You laughed before. You knew what it was like. What happened, right? And so by partnering, collaborating with important figures through music, through film, through advertisements, we can raise awareness, right? Not only raise awareness, we can actually treat those that want to be treated.
Absolutely.
It's all about wanting to help.
Yes.
You have to want to help. If you don't
We
want
are
to help,
here to help. We are here for you.
You know.
We're not even waiting for you to come to us. We're going to come to you. Allow us to enter your world, and we will show you that that's not how life really should be. That's not what laughter is.
Mhm. But see, that's the thing, Alexis. Like, a lot of people complain all the time. It is all the time. The complaints is there's no resources.
Right.
There's nowhere to go to get information. The information is out there, but you have to have the willingness and the motivation and determination to find it. Because you don't even have to go out of your house now. They got the internet. You go on the internet and you can find anything in the community. And that's what needs to happen in the household. You got after school program resources for kids to get involved in to keep them off the street. But if you don't do that, then this is what leads to trauma.
Yes. Yes. People need to be educated, as Eric said and Mr. Hadley said. People need to be educated, re-educated, right? It's okay to talk about it. Let's destigmatize this. Let's speak about it. We're here. Look, if you don't think you have a problem, okay, that's fine. That's fine. But at least speak to us. Let's see. How come you dropped out of school? How come you're standing on the streets? How come you end up in jail at 16, 17? Why? Right? What is happening? So, yes, the research.
Well, that just reminded me. I'm not laughing, but I am laughing, but I wasn't supposed to be laughing. That just reminded me when you said that. I have a neighbor. I mean, he goes back and forth to prison like clockwork. And so finally, I just said to him one day, "Aren't you tired of going to prison? What is the problem? I don't understand." He said, "Well, I don't have a problem with it. I go in there, I get pumped up. I get my 3 meals a day. I have health care and everything. So it doesn't bother me." But it was exactly. And I was like, "What? Excuse me?"
That's
You see,
That's
the values have shifted completely, right?
Yes.
That's what people are looking forward to. So we know there's something wrong with that, if that's what we're looking forward to.
Yes.
This is what I'm saying. It was like, you rather go in there to get 3 meals a day? You can cook your own 3 meals a day. At least this way you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like amazing the things that people don't, like these young people don't have. Like they just, I don't even know what to say about it. But listen, as long as you can get some outreach out there to help them, hopefully, when you're out there reaching out to them, they'll be listening, because we have a lot of issues in our communities, East York, Brownsville, Bed-Stuy. We have them all over.
Yes.
Brooklyn is a problem, and there's resources and stuff. So I thank you again for the work that you are doing, have done, and will be doing in the community, to help our people. And I mean, it's going to take all of us. It takes all of us. I mean, I still talk to the parents, and I tell them, they don't like what I be telling them, but I still be telling them, like, look, you need to put that foot where it belongs to save your kid, because it's better for you to be busting heads than the police to be busting their head. That's how I look at it, and stuff. And discipline your kids, because that's not the way your parents allowed you to act, whatever. So why do you want your kids acting like that? Because one thing I have always told the parents, because I dealt with the parents a lot when I worked at the vet, I always told them, people will help your child if they are respectable, but they will not help your child if they're not respectable. They'll come to your child's rescue in a minute, quicker than they will someone that's disrespecting them and cursing them out or whatever like that. And that's how we all have to help each other out, because even when the kids is acting up, you want to help them. You want to help the parents. But like I said, some of their attitudes and the way they talk to you about why are you in my business, why are you doing this, that's why a lot of times you just don't even say anything. But I still keep talking anyway, you know, cursing me out. I'm used to it now, you know, with the head swinging this way and the hands on the hip. I'm accustomed to that, because that's the way they used to act when they cut them out office. And I would tell them all the time, them hands on the hip and the head going is not going to change anything. Not going to change anything. You have to be the parent, and you have to do what you're supposed to do. So I think I preached enough for tonight, you know.
Thank you so much for helping us raise this awareness. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you. And look, we're gonna keep it going. You know, like if you need to come on and tell us what else you were doing or whatever down the road, please feel free to come back anytime and let us know what outreach you're doing or what, you know, anything else you want to put out to the community. So thank you again, Mr. Eric, Mr. Headley, Miss Alexa. So
okay, Doctor. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we love you guys, and thank you so much for all what you guys are doing, you know?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we try to get the word out there on what's going on in the neighborhoods, in the community, and around the state and stuff like that, you know, because it's just so much going on. I tell you, it's a lot going on. So, Eric, you know why I keep eating that macaroni and cheese and collard greens, because there's just too much going on. You know, they try to keep you stressed out, so to keep you being stressed.
That's just Bonnie's excuse. I know.
That's your behavior, right? You got to modify our behavior, right?
We can work on you as well, Ms. Shannon.
Well, you know what,
Yes,
Eric?
yes, Alexa, yes.
I'm gonna try to do better, Eric. I'm gonna try.
All right.
I'm gonna learn behavior now.
Right.
But thank you. Continue to do work.
Bless you all.
Thank you. Thank everybody for watching tonight. I hope you got some good information. Please share what you've heard about our community leaders, what they are doing, and when they come knocking on the door, do not be slamming those doors in their face. Okay. So thank you for watching tonight, and as always, we'll see you next time.
Thank
you.